Waiting for YouTube to catch up. Well, does say streaming, doesn't it? Let's see.
Do you really want to spend the rest of your life
There it is.
Guys, just download that.
Whoops, my bad. Add. And skip. Skip again. All right, so we're here now. And we have good sound, I think. Let's try that again. That's probably good. Check the levels again. Oh. No, why did it? All right. Sorry. Sorry, so unprofesh. Filters, gain. It changes every day. I don't know why. Maybe it's not a, although I did switch out a mic and it does the same thing. So, please forgive. I think this is good. Yeah, this is in the yellow, so we'll be good. Alrighty, so this is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show, and coming to you live from Columbus, OH. And welcome. And so, what is it? A Monday, February 10th, 2025. Very nice. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. You're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money, and on that main page, if you'd like to see some more of my financial content, scroll past the Oak Island playlist and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist, and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and the music playlist, and that has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including How to Do Them Babies Dibs Right. So listen to those if you're interested in that. That'll be fun. That way you can be in the grocery store and one of those, the music for one of those songs will come on, and then you'll sing the wrong lyrics. You'll sing my lyrics, and that's fun. That's fun for me. Market report. Everything up. You cannot complain about that. It was down on Friday. Also down in the after hours trading on Friday afternoon, early evening. But it opened up today. So you cannot complain about that. Well, you can, but no need to. We got earnings calendar tomorrow is Super Micro, and they went up pretty big today. They had come down a lot, but they went up pretty big today, so people must think they're going to have a good report tomorrow. And Coinbase, virtual currency trading. I don't know if they do anything else there or not, if they do anything else with money or just with virtual coin. Everything up in the, except for Tesla, my bad. Tesla down 3.01%. All the other most followed single stocks on the Google up, led by the Amazon 1.74% up. Let's see, we have, I thought we would have a NVIDIA 2.87 up, and let's tell you, Tesla's down. I thought NVIDIA was down. They may have been down earlier, but they ended up finishing the day up. And so you can't complain about that. Let's see what the rest of the planet is doing. Everything up in Europe. Bless them. Everything up, almost everything up in Europe. 3 out of 5 to indexes are down. Currency, let's see what we got. US dollar up over the euro, up over the Japanese yen, up over the British pound, love, bless them. And up against the Canadian dollar, Sorry. And the US dollar is up over the Australian dollar, mate. So basically, the American said, "Nar." So let's see. In futures tomorrow, look good as well. Again, Nasdaq, U.S.&P people only that are only doing S&P 500. You're missing out. I would throw some in the Nasdaq too, if I were you. Obviously, managed mutual funds make even more than these indexes. You just got to find the good ones, and it doesn't take a genius to find the good ones. I did it, so there you go. And I think that's all we need for the finance page, but we do have some other financial stories and a ton from Fox Business today. And that's not because I prefer them or anything like that. These were all on the Google Finance page earlier. Court throws out car buying transparency rule, what consumers should know. I haven't read this yet, so I don't know what it is. The court ruled the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, skipped an important part of the notice and comment process. Okay, and what was that? Last week, the advocates argue would have made the car buying process more transparent and saved consumers billions. United States Court of Appeals, though, for the Fifth Circuit, struck down the Combating Auto Retail Scams Trade Regulation, or CARS. Of course, they always got to make it some fun abbreviation, anagram. Rule before it could go into effect, arguing the Federal Trade Commission failed to follow its own internal process. And hey, you know what? Federal Trade Commission, don't make Elon have to come and check you guys out to see if you're being efficient, because apparently you're not. If you have an internal process, why don't you follow it? Good idea. Let's see. The rule is aimed at fighting two common types of illegal tactics consumer face when buying a car, such as bait and switch tactics. Certainly happens. Hidden junk fees, all kinds of different stuff happens with this. And so, I don't know the exact law or the rule or whatever it is. So I won't comment fully, but if it protects consumers from shady stuff, I'm probably down with it. But definitely, hey, government, you got one job: do your government stuff correctly. Also, again, like I told you, a bunch of Fox Business stuff today. Federal Workers Union files lawsuits to stop VOUT and Doge from activity at Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Department of Government Efficiency is what that stands for, and Elon is the head of that. And National Treasury Employees Union takes aim at directives issued by, that's Acting Director Russell Vought. I believe that's how you fought. Just put a V in front of it. I believe, let's see, union representing federal workers filed a pair of lawsuits against Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the FPB. Acting Director Russell Vought, asking a court to declare recent actions by him unlawful and to block the Department of Government Efficiency from gaining access to employee information. So if you work for the government, why is it a problem that the government has access to your employee information? Like any department should have that. The filings by the National Treasury Employees Union come after Vought told staff at CFPB not to issue any new rules and to stop any new investigations. Among other directives, he also said letter to the Federal Reserve requesting no money for the CFPB's third quarter of fiscal year 2025. Alrighty. But as far as them having the employee information, that's your employer. So, and another branch of or part of the government, you shouldn't be surprised at that. So, Don't know what it's going to work out. I could go either way probably. Depends on what your argument was. Alleges the CFPB has granted access and by extension disclosed employee records to individuals associated with Doge, another government department. And you can't really be an efficiency watchdog unless you have the information on the goings on and the salaries being paid out. So I don't know why they would, need necessarily each individual. They don't need like name, height, and weight, not necessarily. But still, I would expect that the government would know everything about you, and if not, they could just go on to Google and find out about you anyway. Trump suggests U.S. may have less debt than thought because of fraud. All right, well, that's only true if the fraud is just messing up the books and the money hasn't left. If the money's left because of the fraud, then that still counts as debt. It's because the money's already gone. So you don't get to fix it that way. So I don't know. And it did say Trump's comments about fraud in treasuries were unclear. So is that it could be smaller? I would hope so. I would hope that there's more, not necessarily fraud, but more clerical problems than debt. That would be great, but I just don't know. Don't know about that. So maybe we'll see something about that in the future. And NASDAQ futures down. Must have had some bad news. In somebody reporting that. I don't think anybody I think there was inflation data or something like that was coming in. Wall Street Journal, McDonald's U.S. sales drop as customers spend less. Fast food chains, international business buoys its financial results. Shares rise. Great. Other countries spending more and the United States spending less. Hey, it happens. And so that should tell you how people are doing in this economy, as people love to say. And a couple more stories. Disney drops 2 DEI programs. I've talked about stories about DEI before. And if you're not familiar with that, that's when you just check boxes on hiring instead of just hiring the best person, no matter what boxes they check. Best choice would be the only box to check in a business, or even in the government either. You also don't have to do that in the government. And I think that's also something that Elon is looking at in the government. Drops 2 DEI programs in the latest SEC filing as investors pressure company to do more. All right, and so I said this about Anheuser-Busch story on Friday. Do you want Anheuser-Busch, Disney? Do you want to be a company and make money, or do you want to be an activist? I would pick one. I mean, you can certainly do some activist things if it's your company, for sure. But you want your main thing to do, Disney. Put out some, good movies. How about that? And keep Disney Plus. Do new shows on there. How about that? Anheuser-Busch, why don't you sell beer? Why don't you try to make more money selling beer? Streamline the brewery process and transport and all that stuff. From Yahoo News, a passenger was accused of assaulting flight. Yeah, spit just went out of my mouth there. Sorry about that. If you saw that, and if you didn't, I shouldn't have said anything. A passenger was accused of assaulting a flight attendant, opening a door and jumping from a plane heading to the runway. All right, and this I just have for as you can see, I just look at the headlines basically. I don't want to get too involved in the story, but basically this is a people are nutty story. assaulting a flight attendant, opening the door, and jumping from a plane heading to the runway. I would suggest some mental issues, perhaps. Or perhaps none, and just dumb. Oh, let's see. Robert Crumb, what up? Simply blessed. I'm so sorry, you guys. Ignoring people for 10 minutes while I talk. Simply trying to stop them because they have something to hide. Yep. Greedy person hired should be the best for the job, not who you are or where you came from. Nope, didn't see spit flying out. Okay, right, just a bare staircase and wall that needs lots of greenery. Yeah. I have not got that one plant yet. And you never did tell me which plant to get. Which plant you get, like the least maintenance plant that there can be. And would that be like a cactus? Is that the least maintenance? I mean, they still need to be watered, right? So like the least maintenance. We go to reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And that is, Dave Ramsey all together as one word. And we sort by new, and I go to the bottom so I don't waste any questions, so I don't run out of any questions. So I get all of them, because it only holds 1,000 at a time, and I run out. I must be on here talking about it too much. Beginning anew. I gotcha. Pay off car loan in full. Hey guys, I owe $7,700 on my 2018 car. Doesn't matter, the interest rate doesn't matter. Monthly payment $370. I've been adding an extra $400 per month to principal, but I'm wondering if I should just bite the bullet and pay off my loan. I have $11K in a high yield savings account. And now why would you do that? Now why would you have savings and also get that? To have the savings, some false sense of security there? I don't know why you would do that. Or you might be a person that's trying to do a thing that a lot of people like to do. Somehow they think that the way to do the baby steps is to do all of them at the same time. And that would be a NAR, as our friends in Australia would say. That would be a NAR to doing that. You do not have extra savings other than the $1,000 while you're doing step 2. So that would be a NAR. So that would be a yes to pay off the thing in full. Why you keep debt around? That's debt leveraging to have money in savings. And that is not advised. Which is roughly 6 months of necessities and $3K in checking. Yeah, hey what? Guess what? You're not supposed to do the 3 to 6 month emergency fund until step 2 is done. I'm so glad she said it today, because it's doesn't say it in the steps anywhere. Let's look at the Ramsey version of it. It doesn't say in the steps exactly this, but steps 1, 2, and 3, you do one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. That's a no. No in investing, no in extra savings. That step 1, you don't even pay off more of your debt. You pay the minimum payments while you're saving $1,000, but you only pay minimum payments. So you're not trying to do multiple things at the same time in the early baby steps. And so once you get the $1,000, you're done with that. Then you can write a big check mark on that, and then you move to step 2, and then you pay off all of your non-mortgage debt, and you are still not saving a penny. All of it goes to get out of debt. And then you add to the 1,000 to create your 3 to 6 months. So understood it wrong, but some people understand it and they act like they didn't or whatever, and they do what they want to. Or, who knows? People are nutty, like I said before, so who knows? But the 6 months is a little bit, Gibbs rule number 39. There's no such thing as coincidence. And so this being 6 months of necessities, not to mention the extra $3K, may need that much as a buffer. So I'm not as much worried about that as the doing step 3 before step 2, and that's a nar for Mr. Ramsey on that. I also have 100K in retirement accounts. That's fine. You don't touch retirement accounts, but you also do not continue to invest while you are on steps 1, 2, and 3 either. Step 4 is investing, and you don't do any until you are on step 4. 22K in a taxable brokerage, right? You would get that out as well. Is that the only thing? If you have other debt than the car, then you would apply it to that as well, and you would liquidate the brokerage account. I make 85K pre-tax with lowish expenses, so I could refill my e-fund relatively quickly. Yeah, it shouldn't have been filled in the first place, so you did it wrong. Benefit of the doubt would say you just didn't understand it, thought you were supposed to do all of them at the same time. But are you also saving for kid college? That may not apply either, or it may not have a mortgage either. But if you do have kids, are you saving for their college too and their mortgage early? Otherwise, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you're not doing that, you're not being logical by doing all of them at the same time, and you're not being logical by skipping, by doing them basically by doing 3 before 2. And of course, there's been the amount that's in the retirement already could have already been in there before you got on the program. So I'll give even a little bit more grace for that, but definitely doing it wrong. And so that's always if you have the cash, yes, you pay off debt with it. If you have non-mortgage debt, that's always a yes. So, and if you just watch the shorts on the YouTube, you may miss some stuff, as we learned today in the Ramsey Show broadcast. Not a cactus, she says. He will still have 3 months of expenses in high yield savings account. Right. So he's got good. If that's the only one, yeah, then you got a head start on it. You did it wrong, which made the combination of all the baby steps take longer by you doing it wrong, but because you also paid the interest on that. I mean, it depends on what the interest coming in the high yield savings account was as well. So that may be a wash, or you may be a little bit ahead, but that's just not the way to do it. The way to do it is designed so that it teaches you good money habits, and so you can't have more savings, and so you can't invest while you still have non-mortgage debt. That's supposed to be incentive for you to get rid of your non-mortgage debt so you can do those things. Snowballing deferred student loans from Point of Grace. Point with an E on it. I've been rocking around my snowball for 13 months now. And now, little pitchy dog. And have Take 2. Have 7 separate student loans and my car payment left. The car payment falls around the middle of my snowball list. The student loans were in an IDR. I don't know what that is. Plan, the save plan, actually, that is now deferred until the end of the year, as it reads to me. Deferment started back in August, I think. But I've just been going along, continuing what my minimum payments were, and snowballing smallest to largest like I have been. Well, it just occurred to me that since they are not drawing interest now, that's the problem. When you are following the steps and then you start thinking, well, maybe Mr. Ramsey got something wrong, and maybe I can think of a better way to do it. But the answer on that is nar, you can't. And also made a nice list, so that's good. Nice numbered list there, but, where were we? Would it be more advantageous of me, that would be for me, to be throwing more money at my car, which is drawing interest, or putting more towards the smallest debt? Interest is not a factor here. That's why I don't ever care about it, despite how many people want to include what their interest is on stuff. It doesn't matter to me because it doesn't matter. The things that matter are the different amounts. Now, some people do put all their student loans together as one amount, and so it sits at the end of the snowball list. And as far as smallest to largest, they do that. But if you have them as how many do you say? 7 different ones. If you have them separate, then they would fall where they fall, smallest to largest, and the car would be in there as well. So you wouldn't do that. Let's see, continue my student loan minimum payments. Well, you still have to do minimum payments regardless. Oh, even if they're deferred, yeah, you still would do that. And throw the extra snowball money to the car. Stop student loan payments and throw all the money at the car. No, I'm not doing that. Because again, it's all about mindset thing. And if you do the snowball, you get faster wins more often, and that is supposed to motivate you to stay with the plan. Like, for example, some people like to do the avalanche method, which is the highest interest first. And a lot of times that's also their highest amount. And so by doing that, it takes them a long, long time to get any particular kind of win for paying that one off. And so they are more likely to quit doing the baby steps. Let's see. Number 3, take my entire student loan payment plus my snowball and put it towards the smallest student loan. And continue my car payment as is. I have the ability to choose how much goes towards each loan on the servicer's website. I mean, if they're deferred, it's fine if you don't make a minimum payment to it, because the minimum payment due is 0. So that's fine if you don't make any payment to them. But they are still going to be getting interest during that time. So, you know, it may be just a wash, or you may be coming out a little bit worse on the deal by not doing the minimum payment. So it just depends on the interest rate of all of your debt. But that is less something for you to be so concerned with, and what you need to be more concerned with is your mindset about this stuff. Continue on as I've been, as if no deferment is happening. And yeah, that's generally the advice, because you don't keep a loan around, even if it's at 0% interest, and maybe different dementias coming in today. I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm all right though. So yeah, you could do. I'm fine with you not making a minimum payment to the ones that are deferred. That's fine. But I would still hit that, and even the deferred ones in the same order in the debt snowball. Sid made it. What up? That was probably too loud. If you have 2 debts that are close in value, you can consider interest when you get to that point in your snowball. Sure. Since the interest can be a tiebreaker but not a priority maker. That's great, Sid. I'll keep that in mind for a song. Breaker and maker rhyme right there. Successful NEAT 2578. 20K CC debt can't afford. Okay, well, that's why you would not take out the debt. Anyway, 23 years old, still a baby. I had gotten into this debt due to car troubles and being laid off of work over some time and having to use credit cards. Total being 20K. I can no longer afford even the minimums. You got to sell the car then. Sorry. I'll list my bills. 8, looking for best options to do. Bills, rent, 14. Yeah, all right, let's take a look at it. I thought we wouldn't need it, but why not? Let's look at it. $14.50. That's not cheap rent. Cheapest around me. Maybe you live in a city that costs too much. Maybe it's too much high cost of living and you don't make high cost of living money. Sorry about that. You don't get a break on that. Car is $450. Had to loan a car, I mean take a loan out on a car. Had to. False. You did not. And lowest rate I could get after all my car issues. Okay, phone $125, so paying too much for that, like almost everybody is. Insurance $202. Cable $40, that's fine. The credit card, different credit card payment amounts between what, 85 and 40? No, between 85 and 306. Total being 3,200. Yep, and you don't make that much a month. Alrighty, well, sell the car, and that gets rid of that $450 car payment. So that would take that down to $27.50. Yes, no dementia today. Yes, I'll take that down to $27.50, and hopefully, let's see, does it say what you made? Average on gas a month is around $250. Quit driving so much. Quit going somewhere. Why do you go somewhere? Oh, I have to drive to job sites every day. You don't have that great a job, it doesn't sound like. Groceries $250 a month, which includes pretty much bare minimum. If this is for one person, you could probably chill out on it a little bit. No eating out if you're doing that. That's generally where people would be cheating. Necessities $50 a month for the $50 a month. Okay, on other necessities. All right, for the last 6 months, something has come up where I needed to fix or purchase something from the ranges of 200 to 500. And yeah, okay, so how much of the time was it 100% necessary thing? Just like you said, had to take out a loan. You didn't have to, you chose to. Looking for advice and options. Doesn't say how much this person makes. I've looked in my credit union to get a debt consolidation loan. That's going to be the same amount. That doesn't lower your debt any of that. That makes it go up more even, because there's a debt consolidation is not free. You have to pay a fee for that. Or personal loan for lower interest. However, I can't get approved because my credit isn't the best, as everything's maxed out. Right. Which is why you shouldn't have done any of that stuff. Don't live off of credit cards ever. Dumb as crap. I've called two of my major credit cards, and one of them I used to the financial hardship program while I was laid off already, so I can't go into it again for a year or so. Yeah, the first time you did that, that should have been a wake-up call. It wasn't, apparently. The other one wouldn't really budge for me. Yeah, as long as you're paying it, they don't have any reason to do that. They have no, if you're, on time with it, on time with the payments, even though it takes all of your money. So it didn't say how much the person made. Let's just see if I'm off on my own, nowhere to live with parents or anyone. It's a 1-bedroom apartment also, so can't get a roommate. Just renewed the lease around 4 months ago. Yeah, you could have found somewhere cheaper to live than that. Despite saying cheapest near me. Second job would not be viable for me, is also going to a school certificate program, but that's fully paid. What about on the weekend? Could do that on the weekend. You could find some time to do something to make more money. Find stuff you can sell, and definitely the car. But again, we want to know what we're looking for. Oh, not that many comments on this one. What we were looking for would have been the amount that this person makes, which was left out. And so, but yep, you can, I mean, that's going to be the most thing you can do. If you bought any dumb stuff with the credit cards, you can sell that stuff too. But the car would be the one that would probably make the most difference for you in your finances. Boom, boom, boom. Robert Crumb says cancel cable for a season. Hashtag season. If he's driving to job sites in his personal vehicle, he should be getting paid mileage. Indeed. May need a different job even that makes more money if you can get it. Night Watch, show callers income, rich or broke, relatability. Oh, okay, this is great. I've talked about this before a lot. So the Richies will call into the Ramsey show, and people don't think that they're allowed to have problems. I don't think that they should have any problems because they are relating the Richies' amount of income to their poor amount of debt. So as far as the Richies that call with problems, their income allows them to get into a higher percentage of debt than you have, and that is most likely the case. Now, the times it might be different is, of course, if nobody's in, if they're not in debt and they still have a question. Richies can still have questions, but as far as if it's a Richie that has debt and they make a lot of money, but they have debt, it's generally going to be higher than your percentage of debt. So why couldn't you relate to that? And they probably also live in a higher cost of living area than you do. So all that's different. So I don't know why can't you relate it. It's just being short-sighted and jealous, I believe. Let's see what all this is. So I am interested in it because I do talk about it quite a bit. Why is it that people who call in the show either make loads of money or make no money? Oh, no, I mean, I see all, if you may have to watch a lot to get this, but I see all up and down the scale. I don't see either flat broke or loaded to the gills. I don't see that on there. So I see all kinds of income range on the show. I know the answer because it's good content. I want your opinions. No, the content is the question. And what it is, because even like, the middle class, even middle class people do have issues, and middle class people have called and they've gotten on. So, this is not your thing. You don't have to, you also don't have to figure out how the show works. Just either watch it or don't if you don't like it. And that's my opinions on it. I've been listening to Ramsey Show for a bit over a year, and yeah, I've been listening to it, watching it way longer than you have. And have a hard time relating to a lot of the callers. Well, that's on you, Bubba. As I just explained, and I'm sure the person is not thinking about that, or just would rather not think about that at all and just be jealous for some reason that doesn't help this person at all. But maybe the truth is that I'm just in a good spot and I need to stop being critical about my own choices. No, be critical about your own choices. You could have made wrong choices. That still doesn't mean you can't relate to a Richie if they have a higher percentage of debt than you do and live in a higher cost of living area than you do, because all that adds up together to make them percentage-wise not any better off than you. The one thing I keep coming back to is that the career I work in, I will never make a lot of money. So this is what this is about here. That's the problem. Mad that you will never make a lot of money and have no benefit. Small business, retail. Yeah, so that doesn't matter about the relatability, excuse me. So you're not worried about that. So the title is wrong. The title is mad that my chosen career does not make a lot of money. So change it or deal with it. Live within those means. I make $55K a year in OH. which is above the median income, right? I max out a Roth, but that's it. I'd like to do more towards retirement, but I'm still in the journey. If you are paying off debt and you do not have, and you have a full emergency fund, you shouldn't be doing the full emergency fund or the retirement investing. You shouldn't be doing that at all if you have debt. If you don't have debt, you are doing better than even the richies, because you don't have any negative coming out there. Even though you don't make that much money, you don't have anything subtracting for it when some richies do. And you can have a richie that has half and half, has just as much debt as they do income per year, and or assets, and that would be a wash there. Let's see, I had student loans, had a new car purchase, 2022. I made $23K a year. For many, if you paid all that stuff off, great. If not, you're doing it wrong. So worry about how to do the baby steps right, as the song says. How to do the baby steps right, instead of thinking about the rich or broke relatability, which is code for I did it wrong and I'm jealous. Because if I made that much money, I wouldn't have done that. No, you would have done the same crap you did, student loans, and bought a new car. Guess what? You would have done even more. You would have spent even more on debt. Made $23K a year for many years up to graduating college. $23K a year does not sound that great, sir, for a college graduate. So that I would think would be a bad choice. Some people do that. Some people go to private school and pay $100,000 to make $30 a year being a social worker. And that's fine if you pay cash for it. But you took student loans on it, and you also didn't get a job that makes you enough money to quickly pay off those student loans either. Let's see. And not using my degree, 2013 to 28, right? And all that's your dumb fault for making those decisions. You got to accept that. That has nothing to do with richies. Richies are completely out of that. All of this is on you. Bought a house with a 30-year mortgage. You're doing it wrong with only 10% down. In 2020, you did it wrong. 35 and finally debt-free except the mortgage. Oh, that's great. So did pay it all off. So great. So you may actually be in a better position. You need to stop just looking at their income. You need to look at how much they owe as well. Now, there are going to be some people that, again, make a ton more than you, and they don't have any debt either, except the mortgage, and they are better off than you. And so that's just life. Being jealous of people does not fix your situation. It does not move the needle at all. I feel like I'm finally on the right track. That does move the needle. Feel like that, and you did great by paying off the debt. You did it correctly, although I never struggled with my previous debts. I just paid them on time until I saved enough money to pay them off, and that was dumb as crap too. You don't understand how the world works, sir or madam. You don't save enough money. You don't put money in a savings account and then pay something off. You pay it off as you get the extra money every single week. My pal Matty Bags, what up Matty Bags, hashtag mention. Matty Bags would make payments every single day to his debt. So you don't put it in a savings account and then take it out and pay it off. You don't do that. You save interest by paying off more of it earlier. So you did it wrong. Am I wrong? Yes, for thinking I need to calm down. No, you didn't need to calm down and just be happy with where I am currently. That's a no and a no. You do need to calm down. And as far as being happy where you are currently, mostly probably, but you can be happier by paying off that mortgage and investing and so forth. And hopefully you have the full emergency fund, which was not mentioned here, so you can't assume that. And, maybe the 30-year mortgage, but, once you are, I know there's not a lot of money for you to be paying it extra, but that's what you would be putting extra to the house after investing the 15%. And if you can't invest the 15% of your gross income, then you do have an income problem that should be fixed. Otherwise, it's all, and it's, but this is fine. If you can live within your means, any income is fine. So the problem previously was that you took out student loans to go to college to not use that degree at all. So that's bad. So yeah, mistakes were made. Sure, I made them too. But the problem is within you and not some kind of philosophy thing about rich or broke relatability. But I talked about that already. And yeah, that's what you just need to consider. And what people do, just, by nature, is they apply, oh, if I had that kind of money, could pay off my debt easily. Well, that's not how it works, is it? Chaos with a 0, Chaos Owl. That sounds fun. Let's see what Sid has to say about life and stuff. The extremes are what stick out to us. Yeah. That's right. Still haven't found what she's looking for. Someone calls in making 70K and they have a 15K truck loan. That's not crazy enough to stick out in our memory. True. But someone making 30K with a 35K auto loan is extreme. That's right, Sid. You're right. Some people struggle to develop empathy for people different from them. That's a reflection on the non-empathizer, not the person calling in and sharing their story. True, Sid. And this is why you would make a first-rate co-host. You would probably take over, in fact. But fortunately for me, as far as you taking over, you don't have that kind of time. But yeah, you'd be awesome, Sid. No wonder 956, especially with us and the balance. Like the balance between, because we both think of different things. Which bank have you been satisfied with for your auto loan? I know I've read this before. Oh, and it's locked too. Ain't nobody gonna be putting more comments in there, but there's 76 already. So, but I think I skipped it before too when I read it, or just read it while I was scrolling down. But which bank have you been satisfied with for your? You don't need to be satisfied with a bank for your auto loan, because guess what? You're not supposed to be getting auto loans. You're doing it wrong. Again, concentrating on the wrong stuff. Instead, let me find the best place for my auto loan on the subreddit that's named after a guy that says don't get auto loans. That is pretty dumb as crap. Savings no 7619, or savings number maybe 7618. That's a lot of, I said 9, didn't I? That's an 8. Sharing some early success. Great. Let's see what success is like. Hi, friends. Hi, guys. I had posted earlier this year as I'd begun selling a lot of unnecessary belongings to begin paying down debt. So many people won't do that. So many people won't go through the trouble of doing that. And they have a bunch of credit card debt, and they got a bunch of crap they bought with credit cards, but they don't ever think to sell the stuff that they bought, especially stuff they're not even using. They don't think about that. That's a next level thing as far as the Ramsey stuff, for that to occur to somebody. Since November or December, in addition to my main full-time job, I jumped into a part-time gig at a coffee shop, working from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. I then jump into my main job for 9:30. Fabulous. I worked about those same hours when I did a part-time job. I worked at one of the big hardware stores. It's called Menards. They have them here in the Midwest. but basically it's like Lowe's or Home Depot. And so I work there from 5 to 9, but I could basically, also let me, there was always something to do. So they let me stay until like 9:45. And then I drove the 15 minutes straight to my computer repair job. So more money for me. And so I did that while I was saving for my full emergency fund. But then I also kept it because it was, so easy to do, and I was used to doing that all the time, and it was hard work there. I got to move a lot of heavy stuff, heavy boxes, and such. But fortunately, the computer repair job is not too labor intensive, so that was a good match for that. That was a good mix for that, and so I worked there like an additional 3.5 years, something like that, even after I got my full emergency fund. While it's been hard, I have so far paid off a lot of cards. Great. For the first time in my life, I'm looking at a lot of zero balances. Those are the best kind to look at, unless it's your savings account or retirement account, which just feels really incredible. It does. After selling guitars, collectibles, junk that was unnecessary, I made about $3,000. I bought a guitar and a keyboard as well, and I never played in front of anybody ever. So yeah, I did make a cassette, and I mean some of them might have been okay, like boy band songs, that kind of thing. I did that when I was, what age is well, like between 18 and 21 or 22, something like that. I made about $3,000 with the ungodly hours and my job. I believe I can have almost all my debt, credit cards, car, student loans, paid off within 2 to 3 years. Well, again, something maybe you thought of it, maybe you didn't think of it. You can make a big move by selling the car and buying a beater. A lot of people don't want to do that because they think, oh, if I buy a beater, I'll have problems with it. You might have problems with your car that is unpaid for, that you're still making payments on. You could have the same problems with that car. The total amount is roughly $150,000. Oh my goodness, still to go after paying off some of the cards. But with my main income plus household income plus the extra work, I believe it's all doable when I map it out. Imagine I'm not the only one grinding away, and I just wanted to share some successes after being a very dark spot financially. Great. It's good to share successes. So, but my main income plus household income. So, I mean, if you're married, it should be two people's debts. It should be both of yours. And so, who knows? Maybe the spouse not on board here or something like that. So who knows what's going on here? But that jumped out at me. It said my main income plus household income, plus the extra work. So yeah, but always good to hear somebody is actually doing it, and then that gives somebody reading it either to criticize it because they're mad because they don't want to do it. They don't want to work extra. They don't want to sacrifice in order to get into a better place financially, or not. Big chemistry 8521, principal only versus standard payment. Let's see. Did I read that one? But someone also said, sorry if I read this already, I don't remember doing it, but someone making 30K with a 35K auto loan. Oh, it's extreme. And someone making 300K with $4 million in debt also is. So maybe it didn't say 4 million, because I certainly with 4 million I would have gone to the Dr. Evil for that before. Maybe she changed it. Maybe she deleted it. and typed a new one. Some people struggle to develop empathy for people different from them. That's a oh, I already read that. I already read that too. Yeah, so I read it. My bad. That's my bad. Principal only versus the standard payment. What's the difference here for a loan about 10K with 3.5 interest? What? Payments are roughly $300 a month, which I add another 100 onto, okay? But I've been declining the option to make principal only payments. Why? What am I missing? Oh, okay. So you would make principal only. That allows you to decrease the amount of debt faster. Because if you are putting extra, not just to the next payment, which includes all of the same interest, you are putting it to principal only. And so then you are gathering interest on less money. It's less debt if you do that. That's the same reason people do that for houses as well. They put extra towards principal only when they are paying off their house or trying to put extra on the house. That's what you should do anyway. Not all of them do that though. How would my payments change over time? Well, they wouldn't. You would be paying all, you would put all extra to it until it's gone. So I don't know what you mean, how they would change. The payments minimum due will get lower, but you are still putting all the same amount to it. Well, I still need to make 2 payments if I add high principal only payments, 250 or more. If they allow you to send it in one amount, you can do that. But if you have to pay the minimum with one transaction and then put extra to principal on another transaction, it depends on how they have it worked out. Should I make the minimum payment, skip principal, and put the difference in a high performing index fund instead? That's a NAR, and that's debt leverage, and we do not do that. We do not keep debt around to do any kind of saving or investing. That's a NAR. So, a misunderstanding again. Vegetable copy 1800. Question about banks and identity theft. Been dealing with identity theft surrounding my credit. My mother has opened many more. Oh, many. More than 30. Oh, it's mom doing it. Oh, my goodness gracious me. More than 30 credit cards in my name throughout my lifetime. I'm 30 years old now. One for each year. My goodness, Mom. Many of these accounts went to collections for not being paid, along with late payment histories. I found out about these cards in 2017. I was never taught about credit or finances growing up. Well, if you had been, you probably would have looked into it and figured out what she was doing earlier. So that might be why. And now I know why, right? I have been doing my due diligence and calling credit bureaus and disputing items to fix my credit. It's been a long uphill battle, a gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, I would think you would have to file charges against her for them to for you to dispute those, or when to dispute against those first is what I would think would have happened. But, I'm not a lawyer, so see a lawyer for that answer. This past week, I found out she had fraudulently opened a bank account in my name. I was the primary since 2013. Yep, I went to the bank and closed the account and asked for the transaction history of the account. That's great, because you can close it and you took all the money out. So that's great. So maybe that's some of the money, and you would, of course, put that all to your debt. My question, I know you can freeze and lock your credit to prevent fraud. Yes. Highly recommended. I've done this and have a fraud alert along with police reports filed. Great. But how can I protect myself from more bank accounts being opened in my name? I don't know how she's doing that. unless she's opening it online. But like before you get a debit card, I think most of them make you come in to the bank to sign something. Um, she's calling and pretending to be me to open these accounts. I mean, I guess this could be a young lady, not necessarily. I was assuming a man, but yeah. So to open these accounts, I'm afraid there are many more open in my name that I don't even know about. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm afraid I don't know about banks if they, despite we're working at one, I don't know if they actually even check your credit out when they open the account. I don't know, because if they did, they would see that it was frozen, and that might be a deterrent for them to open the account. But yeah, I don't. If they don't do that, if they just let you open it online or over the phone, um, but generally you would have to have money in there. Because like with even you would have to put money in there first to be eligible for. You don't get like overdraft protection immediately, which again I had to while I worked there I had to explain that just to a lot of callers in the call center that the overdraft protection does not protect you. It protects whoever you are using your card with or your check with, and it keeps them getting paid. But no, for you, it's like a payday loan. So you will have to pay. What was it? I think $35. So yes, and I did have one person that wanted a $1 candy bar from a machine and went into overdraft, and so that cost $35, $36, including the $1. $36 for the candy bar. So hoping it was very, very yummy. Sugar. But yeah, how you can find that, I don't know. And bank accounts, yeah, I don't think bank accounts show up on your credit report. That's only for credit. But the actual bank accounts, I don't know what you would do about that. Actually, I would ask one of your banks. So, or maybe Google it. Google might know the answer as well. They usually do. Sid may know the answer, which is why she would be a good co-host. Robert B. chatting and retracting the message. Maybe it was that I already said what Sid had typed. Possibly. Freedom from debt paid of student loans. Forgot the extra F there. And when you mean to say the word off, that should be an F that you actually do give. That should be an extra F that you do give. I paid off $48K in federal student loans over 5 years. Great. I just called to do my payoff. Fabulous. It was very unceremonious. Yep, that's not a big deal for them. They hope you never pay it off. And so they're not going to make a big deal because you did pay it off. But I'm so glad it's over. The hard thing is I don't feel like, for me, I can share it with many people because so many people I know are still suffering with student debt, excuse me, or other debt. I don't want to brag or make anyone feel bad. That's why I'm sharing with you, though. You get it? That's right. We do get it. I'm consumer debt free. Excellent. So, yeah, and so that can be it. This could be a younger person too. I mean, not necessarily. It doesn't even have to be younger, but the younger generation tends to be more worried about offending other people, and what they might think about something that you say. And especially as you get older, the older every day, I give less of a crap what any one person thinks about anything. So it could be a young thing. Who knows if it's a woman, a young lady, or even an old lady, that could have something to do with it as well. Might be more empathetic to people, but so but that's up to you who you want to share it with. If you think that it might make somebody feel bad, yeah, don't then. But also, if you tell them you did that, then that could do a light bulb. I still haven't seen Despicable Me 4 yet. Need to watch that. Light bulb. That they can do it too. They can pay off their debt too, because you did it. So, and like if it's, especially if it's someone you know, it's like it's not somebody like that calls up the Ramsey show to do a debt-free scream. It's somebody they actually know that actually paid off student loans. And so, that's the only problem with you being too worried about if you're going to make anybody feel bad. Then you also don't get the chance to spread the weirdness that you've caught on about this no debt thing. And so you just got to balance that with yourself. Either way is fine, or a happy medium in there as well. But anytime anybody starts talking about money, I don't mind putting in my 2 cents at all. And we're talking about friends, family, or whatever. No attention 7433. The Every Dollar app. All right, I don't know anything about that probably, but let's see. My wife and I just started a budge using the Every Dollar app starting February 1st, 2025. Congratulations. Looking at our credit card debt, I have $500 in the planned section and made that payment on February 4th. However, I made an extra $100 cash that I deposited into our bank account and then went ahead and paid the credit card down another 100. Then I went to the app and added the 100 into the spent section of the credit card debt. Well, if you do that, you also have to enter that into the income part as well. Now the number's red, right? Because you didn't add 100 to the income as well. So, should I increase the $500 on the plan side to $600? Yeah, I guess if that's the way it works. Yeah, again, I'm not the person to ask about that. That'll work, but I would think just on any type of calculation, you would have to be able to have that much because you are planning to spend everything, that every amount of income you have. But if this is just debt related and only planned and spent and has nothing to do with your actual income, then yeah, you would add that to the plan side as well, because otherwise you would be short, right? If you only plan to pay $500 and you spent $600 by sending it to debt, then that would put you into negative. That's how math works. Edit at the instruction of the first comment, I increased the planned amount to match the spend amount. Yeah, okay. All right, I was right. Yay, yay. Forsaken entrance. Phrasing 352. Paid my car loan off early. Fabulous. I paid off my car loan in 34 months. It was $44,707.09. The loan was taken over 84 months. Don't judge me. Well, you shouldn't have got the car loan in the first place, but at least you did pay it off. I learned a lot on how to not buy / negotiate when buying a car. I will drive it until the wheels fall off and will be buying my next car. Hopefully not for another 10 years. Hope so. Knock on fake wood, I think this desk is. In cash. Feels good. Now on to baby step 3. Fabulous. You should have changed your flare. I don't like to talk about, maybe he doesn't like to talk about his flare or change his flare. Or her. It could be a woman. Rokon 52. I just paid off my car. My next move is to save up to go back to college, and then saving for a house seems like the next logical thing. Right. Right, question mark. I feel like for me, this person's getting into the wanting to do everything and plan everything out all at the same time. So how about we save up for God and go back to college, and then we'll see when you're actually in college. Then you will have some downtime during college to think about what you're going to do later. But everybody wants to plan it all out from birth until we're no longer on this mortal coil. They want to do that. They want to plan everything out immediately. I'm almost 29. I'm a high school teacher in a high cost of living area. That might not work out too well for you. I make $112,000 right now, 2020, 24, 25 school year, while we're going back to college. And might get a retroactive raise to my base salary and a one-time payment to equal $120,000 total. That's fine. You say yes, please, and thank you. My take home is $6,200 to $6,500 per month, and rent is $1,900. But it's probably going up in July because I want a nicer place. And so guess what? You know the way you can save money? You know how you can make yourself better off financially? Is to stop spending money on stuff. You want to go back to college. You want to save for a house, and you also want a nicer place. You have, even this is a lot of income, but it's still a limited amount, so you're limited to that. Let's see, I'm teaching an extra class right now for 17% payback. That's great. And if they don't need me to do it next year, I'm looking at a 17% pay cut in my base salary to $100,000. Okay, so that's included in the 112. Okay, got it. I was gonna say no, it's not. It doesn't subtract for it because you shouldn't have included that. But it would just be from the 112, so you don't get. Oh, well, I guess it might be 120 too, and then it might go down to 1,000. Okay, so that's fine. So you don't, since you know that could happen, then you don't plan to save up for college in an amount that is going to make you poor as far as housing. You wouldn't spend that much for housing then. With my car payment eliminated, I'll have some. Is it eliminated now? If it's not, pay off your debt and then worry about this stuff. My goodness. I'll have some extra cash, even if my salary goes down to 100%. Too many percents, too many ifs. If you do the stuff you need to do right now, when you get closer to the next thing, then you'll know exactly, instead of, well, I don't know if it'll be this percent or that percent or whatever. You don't know. So you're making extra work for yourself and me, because I got to try to keep up with you thinking like this. I do extra duties like after school detention, Saturday detention. Don't you forget about me. For extra hourly pay as well, for maybe $3,000 to $4,000 per school year. Fabulous. Not afraid of hard working. So great. There's a master's program I'm looking at. That's what the kids love to say today. I'm looking at it, looking into it. And hoping to do in a few years. That's currently a little under $15,000 for 2 years. I'm going to save up and set aside approximately $20,000 because the price will probably go up by the time I'm ready to do it. This program will allow me to become a vice principal. Maybe if you ever get a vice principal job, because you get that master's program, that doesn't mean automatically that you will get hired as a vice principal. People are nutty. And this is the same thing. Just like the student loans, the person before, a couple of questions before, not even using his degree, and yet took out student loans for it. Was that a smart idea? That's a nar. It wasn't, and neither is this crap. So people only look at the best case scenario going forward. So, I don't know why making it bold unless it's justification station for something. Hoping to have the money saved up by spring 2026. Great. If that's what you want to do and that's more important than saving for a house, then that's up to you. Did pay off the car already. So that's great. So how about, I know a little thing. How about follow the baby steps? And so next would be baby step 3, which would be the full emergency fund. So make sure you have that first before you're doing any of your other little stuff with the money. How about we have emergency savings? How about that? How about the baby steps in order? And then after you get the full emergency fund, you should be putting 15% of your income into retirement. If you're not already, if you're already doing that, you shouldn't be doing that while you still do not have a full emergency fund. If you have both of those already, that's great, but still you can't save for the house and the school at the same time. You folks won't like this part. Of course we won't, because otherwise why would you be asking? But aside from my 10% pre-tax pension and 0.8% pre-tax 403b, I don't have any savings at all. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. I'm planning on using the $20,000 as an emergency fund. What $20,000? I'm looking at $20,000 here. Oh, and this was even might get a retroactive raise to my base salary and whatnot. See, don't spend money before it's in your pocket. So look how much you typed. It was all a waste of time. So, and you has wasted your time. I mean, my time, it's content, and I can talk about it, so that's fine. But you don't even have that 20K yet, and so you do not do that. You would use your regular income to do emergency fund. Using it for college, college is not an emergency. That master's program is not an emergency, so you would still have the full emergency fund in place and save extra money to go back to college. Assuming there's no emergency. Yeah. Keep assuming. You're assuming everything is all going to be great. And you won't have any problems at all is what you're assuming. And you can't do that. Car payment was only $300, but I have a few months of saving for an apartment. I was putting $1,500 to $2,000 on it per month and paid it off in a year. That part is great. I probably could have saved way more for college than I would have lost in interest. But then again, Dave does say eliminate debts first, and that was my only debt. Right. And then also, if you're wondering, if you're trying to be influenced by what Dave says, he doesn't say not have an emergency fund. Just, you can plan your emergency fund about money you may or may not get. That's a no. You're on baby step 3, and there's no master's program on baby step 3. There's no house on baby step 3. Okay, so baby step 3 is all you need to be concerned with right now. Does saving for a house seem like the next logical step after saving for college? Yes, but right now the logical step is to do baby step 3. How about we do the baby steps in order? How about that? And so, because you have to have that before you can do step 3, which is save for the house down payment. So, it's in the baby steps, my friend. You're doing it wrong and thinking about it wrong. A lot of people do. Let's see. It's right because he overspent. Yeah, needs to adjust the planned amounts. Right. Now, Sid, is that, if you're still listening, is that connected to the part where you put your income in at all? Or is the debt section complete, the debt planned and spent, is that budget part, is that even is that different? Or is it all combined? Let's see. Oh, this will be a great one. Cute Raisin 2329. How to make your partner join when he is the provider. You cannot make somebody do anything. I mean, might be able to convince them, but the problem is that it's not one of your pets. It's not one of your kids. You know, it's not like that situation where you're the parent and when you say goes. That's not how it works when your partner, also the partner should be your spouse. Get married, otherwise you don't combine finances. So you're doing it wrong. So I'm currently pregnant and my partner, I got a great idea. Get married. Is the provider at the moment, only at the moment, and probably will be for a few more months. Is that not going to be, is not going to be your partner continuing on in time? Then why say partner then if that's not going to be the case? People are nutty with partner. I hope he would follow the baby steps and have mentioned it before as a topic of conversation, but doesn't seem interested. Hey, guess what? Got a great idea. Before you do anything with this person that might possibly, by some stretch of the imagination, might possibly end up with you getting pregnant, how about you bring up money to see if there's going to be a problem with this, and then that doesn't happen. When you find out that this is the case, that he doesn't care about money, and he's not going to follow the Ramsey baby steps, and so if they are that important to you, then that would have been the time for you to bring it up. People are nutty. They are nutty, and this call always happens on the Ramsey show. Somehow they don't talk about money, and probably it's a situation. I know a guy that in the same situation. He wasn't doing the baby steps, and neither was his wife. But so they get married. And so they're, credit carding up, spending, racking the debt up. But then my pal found out about the baby steps and correctly realized that, this is the best thing to do to make myself and my family be better off financially. And so he went in all gung-ho, and see, he's the one that changed. His spouse did not change. He's the one that changed. Spouse, the same person he married. And it wasn't a big deal to him when he did get married. So you have to have grace for the person that is not on board. So, but in your situation, you just screwed up royally, and you typing in, I hope he would follow the Ramsey baby steps and mention it. Again, why can't you mention it? But also, you typing it here doesn't mean it's going to happen. Nobody here can type anything that will help you other than talk to him about it and find out what's going to happen. People are so scared, and this may be related to the deal now where, like, the other person writing was concerned about making people feeling bad just because she shared her good news, and worried about making people feel bad. And so if you are going to be in a situation where it is your girlfriend or boyfriend and you engage in activities that might possibly make you pregnant, I'm going to bring up money. How about we bring up stuff, or even, it doesn't even have to be the Ramsey stuff. You can put it with anything. If there's something majorly important to me, I'm going to talk about that on the first date, because it's probably a situation, and it may be for this person or not, I don't know. But if him not doing this now would have meant that you did not pursue a relationship with this person, then that's when you should ask it. That's when you should bring it up. And as soon as you can too. So that way you don't have to waste time pursuing the relationship. If it's a nice person and you like the person, fine, be friends. But if that's going to be enough thing that puts the person in the friend zone, so be it. And so it just depends on how important this stuff is. But this is your fault for going as far as you did with that person without being married. That too. And also not bringing up Dave Ramsey on the first date. And so again, if it's like that situation with my friend where you were dumb and not following the baby steps, which most people are, that's called normal in the real world. If you were normal in the real world, just like your spouse when you met, and then now you changed, you do have to have the grace for the person that did that. And you have to figure out how to make it work. But since it just says partner, I don't know what's happening here. And you said probably will be for a few more months. So if he's not going to be the provider after a few more months, what does it matter if he follows the baby steps or not? If he's not providing for you, then, maybe you'll still, I don't know if that means you'll still be together. So there's tons of questions on this one. 16 comments, not going to get into them. Alrighty. So that was fun. That was a good one. But that drives me nutty. It's okay. Either you're married or you're not married. A partner, that could even be a business partner, but generally you don't get pregnant by your business partner usually, but I guess sometimes it does happen. But yeah, you need to decide what's important to you, and then not just let it go because you don't want to upset things. You don't want to mess up the current dynamic. Are you worried about making them feel bad? That's dumb. This stuff is important to you apparently because you bothered posting it. But yeah, some people are like that too. They said, well, I'm doing it right over here, and I hope he would follow the baby steps and mention it, but he didn't do that. See, you're thinking, you hoping that he was going to do something, and you thinking he was going to mention it, he should have. That doesn't make it true. You can't live your life like that. If you want something mentioned, you have to bring it up. All right. Old Sarah 2712, my debt-free journey. More good news, I think. Probably, since debt-free is involved. Started listening to Dave about 15 years ago. My wife and I are both profesh and had 3 children, a car payment, a mortgage, and crushing consumer debt. Living the American dream. I wouldn't call that the dream. I would definitely call that the American way, probably. The American normalcy, sure. First, we did the debt snowball and paid off consumer debt and destroyed all credit cards. We paid off but kept a Discover card for airline tickets and motel rooms, which we seldom used, and paid off immediately when we did take a trip. That dumb crap is not advised. Get rid of all of them. Don't do any debt stuff. It's debt the second you use it. It doesn't matter if you pay it off at the end of the month. That's still debt during that time. And again, the Ramsey stuff is more of a mindset thing than a calculator thing. So your airline tickets and motel rooms do not interest me, nor do they interest Mr. Ramsey. Next, we started off paying student loans. It took some time because we also helped out kids in college. During this time, we also started paying cash for our vehicles. That is wise. For many years, we've driven totaled and rebuilt vehicles, which have proven reliable. Great. Helps that I have a close friend who rebuilds wrecks, and he's been our source. It does. That's a good kind of friend to have. Lastly, we started paying down the mortgage and adding a few hundred each month that went directly to the principal. Yeah, see, it does work. We continue tithing at church and helping those in need as we felt led to do. Great. About 6 months ago, we paid off the mortgage, and for the first time in 42 years of marriage and raising 3 successful kids, we are debt-free. Congratulations. I'm 64 and my wife is 62. Hey, people that are older than me for a change. And we've been able to sock quite a bit into retirement, especially since we've received a few $100K from inheritance from each of our mothers. Awesome. Good job on the moms. I realized that we took a lot longer than Dave recommends. Yeah. I wonder why. Too much spending, probably. But at least you're there now. Let's see. But we met our priorities and paid down our debt with discipline and not much stress. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you know, if you met the priority, if your priority, rather than doing the baby steps, exactly like Dave says, if your priorities include a lot of trips, which you need airline and motel rooms for, if they include a lot of trips, which brings other spending with it, so you can't well, it's free. No, it's not. You have to spend other money while taking advantage of those free things. So that's a nair on that. But yeah, it was longer, and so you get to choose what you want to do. I have no problem with people doing what they want to do with their own money. So I have friends that do not follow the baby steps, for sure, and so there's no problem with that. Let's see. Anyway. I'm planning to work until full Social Security benefits at 67. Now it's all about investing. Yep, we pay up both of our Roth IRAs in January each year. Sure, and you can do that when you're in this situation. And have a managed brokerage account with financial advisor we trust. It feels good to be free and own a property that's worth 5 times what we paid. Fabulous, absolutely. Anyway, that's my journey. All the best to everyone still in the battle. Don't give up. Don't look back. And when you start getting ahead, don't sign another loan. Cash is king. Indeed. Also, don't get distracted by free hotel rooms from Discover. Free airline miles from Discover. Don't get distracted by that either while you are doing the journey. But other than that plug for, well, I'm going to use it responsibly and pay it off every month. And they probably will the rest of their life. But it's just not worth the risk to Mr. Ramsey. That won't be how it happens. I guess we'll call it there. And I am Coach Steve Money. And, let's see what. If you're avoiding a money fight, then it's time to go to war. That's right, Robert Crumb. You right about that. Thanks for dropping by the way. Where was I? Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. You just scroll down, you find the Ramsey Show Aftershow Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist. And the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Going to do a brand new one on the 500th. This is the 476 show. Going to do that on the 500th, which is good. I could use the time because I haven't fully written it yet. Alrighty. Hey, and if you have money problems or you just want to make sure that you are on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation, assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. Link is in the ticker that's going down below, also in the video description. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Where are we at? Donations, paypal.me/Coach Steve Money, or Cash App, the $Coach Steve Money, or Walmart gift card to Coach Steve Money at gmail.com. designedbypittman.com. And the upcoming streams, it's just this one. It's the Ramsey Show After Show, and is at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, until further notice. And every so often, I might, now that football's done for the year, I might accept the UFL Arena League. No, I think I can't remember if that's Arena or I don't think that's Arena. I think that's like a separate little thing. I think it's called the United Football League, and it's in cooperation with the NFL. But anyway, the Super Bowl is over, so on the weekend that's when I would do answering your financial questions, and I don't do the market report or talk about anything, art news articles and stuff like that. I just answer questions when I do those. So some of those will be coming in record time, I'm sure. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like. Like is the thumbs up button. Much appreciated. You don't have to smash it. Don't damage your equipment. Just lightly grazing it generally will register that click. And comment on the videos, obviously. And as always, of course, make smart financial decisions. Not just some days, every day.